Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Labor and Liberal election promises have faced a reality check from the state's Treasury Department and independent experts. The Tasmanian football team launch also entering the election fray, with the club rejecting calls from Jeremy Rockliff to move the date. Meanwhile, industry and energy have been the focus of the major parties.
Looking to drill home a point, Jeremy Rockliff had employment in focus once again. His pledge of the day, $5.25 million to help Incat upskill its workforce as the company prepares for busy times.
Doubling the workforce and ensuring that the training facilities here are world class. We need to make sure that it happens, and it won't just happen unless we actually expand the workforce.
Labor, meanwhile, was talking power, promising an energy reserve, also looking to lock in supply agreements until 2040.
Make sure that they've got certainty of supply going forward. It means that we will legislate to make sure that they've got the power that they need.
It recognises that there's going to be a great period of disruption.
The pledge sending sparks flying.
This is another made-up policy on the run.
3 weeks out from an election, they're coming up with new ideas that really are pretty reckless.
As both parties' recent bill-busting proposals faced heat from an economist.
Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's right or sensible.
He says the current rhetoric might be a vote winner, but the loser will be the state budget.
Reduce the amount of profit that hydro earns, almost all of which is tipped into the state budget each year.
The pre-election financial outlook also showing stormy waters, once again showing growing spending and debt, along with looming deficits. GDP and population growth also remain low. The Victor warned they face tough choices.
I'm not sure what luck is going to turn up to get us out of that cycle.
Labor and the Liberals attacking each other, while promising their plans are affordable.
Yes, we need to do more, absolutely. But also, we've invested to keep people alive, well and in work.
We've already identified savings in the budget, so this doesn't really change our approach at all.
Meanwhile, the state's biggest political football entered the field of play. Jeremy Rockliff writing to AFL team chair Grant O'Brien, asking the March 18 launch of the Tasmanian AFL team be pushed back until after the state election to avoid politicising the issue, adding if it wasn't postponed, he and his Liberal team wouldn't attend. The AFL chair rejecting the request, saying the show will go on. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
And John joins us now in the studio. John, the first poll of the campaign spells bad news for one of the major parties.
Kim, this indication of how Tasmanians are feeling will be of major concern for the Labor Party. The latest EMRS survey shows the Liberals remaining on 39%. Labor, however, has had a disastrous result, the party slipping back 3 points to 26%, their lowest level since December 2021. Support for the Independents also dropped 3 points, while the Greens remained steady. The Jackie Lambie network was at 9%. Unsurprisingly, both Labor and the Liberals played down the results with some standard responses.
Polls are the polls, and that March the 23rd poll is the poll that counts.
Polling doesn't take into account what happens in Hare Clark, and the poll that really matters will be on March 23.
In a sliver of good news, Rebecca White has gained ground in the preferred Premier Stakes, now just 3 points behind Jeremy Rockliff. But Kim, that primary vote is a horror look for a party looking to return to power after a decade in the wilderness.
Indeed. Thank you very much, John. Again, it will be interesting to see what impact this has on election strategies. Polls will be polls, as they say. Well, meanwhile, the union representing transport workers is calling on all candidates to sign a pledge committing to fixing Metro. The Rail, Tram and Bus Union says a Liberal pledge to halve price or bus fares and increase funding by $15 million may not be enough to solve issues plaguing the bus operator.
What we do know is that in Tasmania, the public transport system, or the government spends the least in the country on a per capita basis for the Tasmanian public transport system, and that's not good enough.
The union will be updating its website daily with names of candidates who have signed the pledge. While Tasmanians are being invited to have their say on health at a series of public forums across the state next week. The Nurses Union today unveiling its list of election priorities and asking the public and election candidates to chime in.
Clearly all of our members will be looking to those health commitments, those health priorities, and particularly in terms of those commitments that will not only support them to do their jobs well, but also address the ongoing strain that the health system's under.
Representatives from the Liberals, Labor and the Greens have committed to attending the forums. Dozens of residents in a Tasmanian caravan park face an uncertain future tonight, threatened with eviction after finding out their homes may have been illegally constructed, and the park, which is part owned by a local councillor, was never permitted to have permanent residents in the first place.
This is John Lowe's little slice of paradise. 2 years ago, he paid $80,000 for this caravan and annex at Beauty Point Tourist Park and continues to pay fortnightly rent for the site. The retired cop didn't think anything was amiss.
This one seemed to be a permanent, almost semi-retirement village, a gated area. You had to be over 55 with a police check and a credit reference. Rightly or wrongly, you make the assumption that everything's kosher and above board.
But the dream started to fade when it came to light that the dozens of annexes, many of them substantial structures, may not be legal and that long-term residents aren't allowed under the council permit.
And you really start to worry about, oh my goodness, what is actually the situation?
West Tamar Council says that no formal investigation is underway at this stage. However, officers are looking into what the next steps will be. It says that if any buildings are found to be non-compliant, the owners will be given time to obtain the proper approvals. Sitting West Tamar councillor Josh Mantikis is part owner and managing director of the park and says he's fighting for the residents. Telling 7 Tasmania News all occupants stay in removable vans or annexes and that the park disavows any implication that residents are permanent. At a community meeting of the mainly elderly residents this afternoon, they claimed to have been repeatedly threatened with eviction by management.
For God's sake, we paid good money for these properties, all of us.
Kerry Webb, full-time carer to his wife, says he's already been banned from the home he paid $100,000 for 8 years ago after a disagreement over a garden.
Because we could lose our home and we've got
nowhere
to go.
I've got to look after my wife. Now I can't. I've got to bring her out to where I'm staying with a friend.
I don't even feel comfortable being at home.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
MyState Bank Arena has turned into an ant's nest tonight as the Jack Jumpers compete in the seeding qualifier against the Illawarra Hawks. Brianna Boylan joins us live from Glenorchy, and Brianna, fans wasted no time in getting to the stands.
That's right, Kim. It might seem quiet now, but I can assure you just 2 hours ago, the atmosphere outside the stadium was nothing short of electric. Spectators came out in droves, lucky to snag a seat to tonight's qualifier, and were well in the spirit before doors opened. Digged out in green, it's hoped the Ant Army will help drive the Jack Jumpers to victory in their 3rd NBL Finals series.
Guys, we're big Jackies fans. We've got the Luca Brasi song on our playlist, so we listen to that all the time. And
we've got a really good crowd. We've got the best crowd in the league, the noisiest crowd in the league.
With you from MyState Bank Arena in Hobart.
Now, tip-off took place just a little while ago. The Jackies have come out strong early on, big man Will Magnay making himself known on court. It's been a dominant first quarter for the hosts, leading 26-13 at the break, and I'll have more match highlights during Sport, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much there, Brianna. Supermarkets aren't the only ones preparing early for Easter, with last-minute planning for Hobart's biggest egg hunt underway. Thousands are expected to follow clues throughout the botanical gardens, with 6 special golden eggs to be found.
Spotted, the Easter Bunny in Hobart, as the excitement sets in.
Tell me what your favourite part about Easter is.
The treasure hunt and all of the chocolate.
Preparations for the 12th annual Easter egg hunt are well underway. The event to take place on Good Friday at the Royal Tasmanian Botanical Gardens. with families set to follow a list of clues around the course.
And everyone is guaranteed of taking home eggs. All the kids will take home eggs.
While it's all fun and games, there is a serious side, raising vital funds for the Royal Hobart Hospital's Research Foundation. Last year, $25,000 went towards researching a range of medical conditions affecting Tasmanians.
A major project at the moment is around prostate cancer for men, where there's found to be a bit of a gap in support services. There's other ones around Alzheimer's, lung cancer.
This year, there's more than just chocolate eggs on the menu.
So this year we're going to be giving away bunny ears to every child that participates, and we've also got 6 golden eggs to find along the hunt with salmon prizes, which is always such a big hit at Easter time.
Last year, the event reached capacity with 2,200 people gathering in the gardens for the event. Organisers expecting similar numbers this time round. To find tickets for the event, hop online. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The Greens have committed to overhauling Tasmania's animal welfare laws if elected. Australia is one of just 6 countries still with legal greyhound racing tracks, with 64 in operation compared to 6 in New Zealand and just 1 in the United States. The party today meeting with the world's largest greyhound protection organisation, Grey 2K, which has been instrumental in reducing races in the US.
There may have been more backlash 20 years ago, but today greyhound racing is ending in the US and elsewhere because it simply does not fit with mainstream values about the welfare of animals.
We're backed by the majority of Tasmanians who overwhelmingly want to end greyhound racing and the subsidies that go to prop it up.
Tasmania's Liberal Party says it supports racing and will not be banning it. Labor sharing the view, saying the $200 million industry provides work for 1,500 people. Thousands have turned out trackside for the summer racing season's last hurrah, the Launceston Cup. While many had keen eyes on the thoroughbreds, others were drawn to the occasion for the fashions or simple horseplay.
It's one of the biggest days on the northern social calendar. Racegoers coming from all over for the 160th Launceston Cup.
We come every year. We come down from Hobart and it's, just a great day.
Yeah, I'm from Adelaide and came over for it, so really enjoying it.
On form or not, for some it's the perfect day to have a punt.
I've backed a couple of winners, which is very nice and not very common for me.
Away from the track, Marquee's also a winner, offering much needed shade from the summer sun. Organisers betting on a big turnout.
The crowd, I've never seen it this big so early, so we're expecting a really, really huge crowd.
But it's not a day which impresses everyone. Animal rights protesters saying nup to the cup. For those who ventured inside the gates, there was fanfare and the fashion. The Turf Club saying 10,000 patrons turned out. While most of us won't be winning a trip to Bali with our outfits, fashion-forward racegoers are keen to throw their hats and fascinators in the ring. One winner travelling down from Sydney with a secret weapon.
Canes were winners today. This one came from Amsterdam, actually. It's got a cobra on top. I found it in a market.
The women's winner aiming for a traditional blue ribbon look.
I think blue is really trending this season and my outfit is quite unique. So, I'm really happy that they picked me.
The day labelled a thundering success. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
The Launceston Basketball Association says a critical shortage of courts is making it difficult to schedule games. It's led to some junior matches not wrapping up until late at night, with growing calls for the issue to be addressed.
Since the Jack Jumpers found success in the NBL, the game's popularity has soared in the Launceston region. The Eltham Sports Centre, the regional home of basketball, now has 3,500 members and more than 630 teams.
The Boomers and Opals have been doing very well for many years too, so it's become more ingrained in community and society, and I think it's become the sport that everyone looks to now as a younger generation, I guess.
But there are currently more than 200 juniors waiting to play the game due to a lack of courts to schedule matches, according to the Launceston Basketball Association.
We use pretty much every available court in Launceston that we can get access to. All of them are multi-user, so there's other sports on them. There's not enough courts actually here for basketball, let alone the other users as well.
As a result, it has been forced to start games late in the evening, with some not finishing their matches before 11 o'clock on a school night.
It's not really good because Thursday nights we have games and we finish like 11ish, and then we have like advanced academy the next morning at 5. Like no one wants to wake up at 5 o'clock, and then before school be all sweaty and stuff and not be able to focus properly on schoolwork.
While the Northern Suburbs recreational hub in Mowbray, due to be completed in 2025, will help ease the queue, the association says it won't solve the issue.
Basketball needs their own space. It's about the only way to really alleviate and give us a control of our own destiny.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
The Jack Jumpers currently lead the Illawarra Hawks 59-49. Lucky Brianna Boylan is just metres away from the action at MyState Bank Arena, and Brianna, the Hawks have made it into quite a tight tussle.
They sure are, Nick. The Hawks found their wings in the second quarter, fighting back to enter the halftime break, trailing by 7. Will Magnay and Jack McVeigh have made a dangerous pairing, dominating at the net. We're yet to see Majuk Deng return to the court. Looks like that injury is still bothering him. And there's fresh injury woes. Marcus Lee left the court in a sling. The winning side will take on Perth in a best-of-3 playoff series, while the losing team matches up against the winner of the Sydney-New Zealand clash, meaning the Jack Jumpers will have a chance at victory despite tonight's result, Nick.
Thanks very much, Bree. Get in there and get them across the line for us. Well, 96 hours after creating history, the Tigers WNCL coaches are already looking ahead to next season. Players will have their annual reviews in coming weeks, while a whole-of-season review is also on the cards.
Having a look at what our structure is going to look like next year, and unfortunately it probably means a bit of list management as well, which is never the fun part.
It's certainly on our minds that we want to make sure that when we do come back at the start of pre-season that we're ready to go and to give it a really hot crack next season.
It's all part of the quest for a 4th title in a row. Victorian gelding Acceleration has claimed this year's Launceston Cup, the race favourite taking the $180,000 kitty a length and a half in front of Kiwi Nag, Alhambra Lad and Grand Piero.
Alhambra Lad, Acceleration getting the upper hand, and Acceleration is racing away to win. Acceleration by a length, Alhambra Lad, Grand Piero.
Local hope Ashy Boy, the best local result, coming in 4th. See, Kim, I told you yesterday not to ask me for tips.
Yeah, you did actually. Thank you, Nick.
Good evening. Today, Hobart 30 degrees, a lovely 28 degrees in Launceston for the Cup, Devonport 24 and Burnie 22. The state's top was recorded at Grove with 32 degrees, not far behind in Bushy Park, 31, King Island 29, Friendly Beaches and Strawn both 28, Mariah Island 27, 26 the top for St Helens, Smithton 25, Lowhead 23 and 22 for Lyowini. Thick high-level cloud moved over the state from the northwest today. Storms can also be seen about the northwest this afternoon. Scattered storms lie over the tropics and a spiral cloud band sits over Victoria, Tasmania and the Eastern Bight. Tomorrow, a high-pressure ridge will move over the southern coastlines of WA and SA as a cold front approaches the east of the state. North to northwesterly winds 20 to 30 knots. Now they're likely to ease as they tend west to northwesterly during the day. Southwesterly swells increasing up to 3 metres. Now with that, there is a strong wind warning for all coastal waters across the state tomorrow to include Bank Strait and Franklin Sound. Your forecast now for Thursday: cloudy about the south, Hobart 25, Cygnet 23, New Norfolk 24. Partly cloudy in the north, Launceston 28, 25 for Devonport, 27 the maximum in Campbelltown. 22 and partly cloudy in Burnie, a shower or 2 and 20 for Strawn, 23 and cloudy in Smithton. Fine and sunny in St Helens, 29, a bit of cloud for Swansea and Fingal, they're expecting both 28. Friday is of course the very first day of March and we can expect showers about the west, mainly fine elsewhere. Saturday showers continue about the west, which are likely also about the far south, although they'll ease in the afternoon. Sunday showers about the west and south, fine conditions elsewhere. Sunny in Sydney tomorrow, 35 with a cool afternoon change. Also warm in Canberra, 34, 27 and partly cloudy in Adelaide, 25 and cloudy in Melbourne. Right now in Hobart, it's currently raining with 25 degrees, mostly cloudy, staying warm though in Launceston, 27, partly cloudy in Devonport with 22. We do hope that Murph did back a winner, and Kim, that's the midweek weather all wrapped up.
And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for your company this evening. Good night.